set you free. Take it up another level. So set you free. Take it up another level. So set you free.
Can we ride in this moment? Can we ride? Nothing's stopping us tonight. No, not a single brake light in our sight, in our way, in our way. I'll be your passenger. You lead the way. You lead the way. I'll let you take the wheel. I'm feeling something real. I need to feel that breeze rush up. Not a
or whatever it is wherever you are. This time, we got this list of games we've seen, and actually this is going to be considerably smaller than probably what we would have seen in the Just Switch browsers. This has probably a much smaller cache of games, actually. So the thing we need to be able to do, or we want to be able to do, is to have a UI so that we can actually edit the modifiers on all these games. Maybe I should do something else with these, because you can't really scan for games. So we've got this. So what we have to do is say that if we select a game that goes and affects our model, well, the viewer has to send an event for that. So we're going to end up with something like this. Why does select comment have two? Right, because those are only exist within a user. This is just within there. So now the view can send that. The compiler is going to be mad at me because we don't handle that message right now. Now, so we need to have the li be a thing. Game.id. No, actually, you contain this. So send that. Then our update function should look a little bit like this. So that model field has to exist. to be editing a value. Now, selected comment contained the comment? I'm not... I don't remember if that's important. Now we have to init it. Wait, did I just... Okay, yes. There's currently no way to unselect that. And we can't tell what the model says, except by turning on debug. So when it is the selected game, I think we're basically going to have an alternate display. Yep. Wrong selected. No, this isn't a case. It's supposed to be a list of things. Would this be the entire body? Okay, so I've pulled the list. This is not going to be a yes or no. This is going to be channel name, new comment. Yeah, so it's... Oh, there's also a maybe here. It's going to look a little bit like this. That's a matter of just adding a just to it. In fact... We could simplify this in the same way. Adding comment equals just user ID. Something like that. This has to be... Right now, it's the only piece of model we use, so we could maybe write that out. Oh, we actually hit the whole LI there. So we still need this somewhere. We've got a maybe score. HTML. Attributes is a number, not numeric. Let's leave that out for now. Game views definition. Like name or total. What? I'd swear these messages used to be more informative. So it might not like the if as the array there. Okay. Oh, and I mean, we sort of don't need half the app right now. So that will cut out all the screenshot references. So we need to position that in a useful place and perhaps size it somewhat more appropriately. Huh, I never really did anything with that. It was just kind of in place. Game score. He's gonna borrow some of this stuff. See, that was an AD. Actually, was this even doing anything? No, that wasn't even doing anything. You... What was it, 70 picks? And we are not putting a value into there. Because it was only a new before. Value is... Game dot score maybe dot with default 1.0. We handle that. The number gives us these. Is there more specific stuff for number? Max length. Ah. Min or max. And they assume numeric, not number, despite number being the keyword. No, not min and max. I want, well, okay. Step. Increments. Can be set. I mean... Okay, the selection thing is really annoying, I gotta say. I guess this counting as a double click. Why it's going that number, I have no idea. Otherwise, set up my initials with some 0.75s. Yeah. Must be detecting double clicks. I mean, that's kinda on the browser, I think. Also, this width isn't quite right. We have a box width 70. But it seems like it's more like 60. No, oh, because you would edit and then we would eventually have some sort of commit. I kind of want to checkpoint myself every once in a while here. Get status. Except for the whole thing about, we'll remove some stuff. Ability to select a game and show an input box. Sending a message so that when we are done editing that, we can send the value back to the main function, to the update loop. Add comment. Ideally, we'd pre-parse this. I don't know how practical that is. Target value. Update game score. We'll see if that decoder works. So this has to be game.id. Then we're not handling this in the main app. This would be comparable to create comment. We are game equals nothing. Is it just games? Oh, we've actually got because that was contained in a user. This is a single level dictionary, so we know that user is going to exist, or that the games exist, whereas we did not necessarily know that a user would exist. The game ID might not exist anymore. Float, score, game ID. So update says it's going to attempt to update that cell, or that ID. And since it's maybe in, maybe out, it could potentially either remove it if it's there or add it if it's not there. But we're only interested in doing the maybe map to update it if it is there. No, actually, the score maybe is where this gets interesting. Game with score if score equals something like that. Update, yeah. Game ID, score, model.games. Not actually persisting it yet, but that persist call will be handy. That would in fact be useful to call in the right dictionary. Now this is only persisting in memory. Oh, and this is... I don't know why that's jumping. And that's not firing the commit. Alright. Debugger. Does this fire change vents differently than Chrome? so 24. Still 24. Is this a numeric thing? Or is the event not even succeeding because it's not parsing properly? Okay, well, it's not a browser-specific thing. Okay, decoder tagger. Oh, it's JSON decode. So it could be failing up front. The way decoders work, we're not able to see the values passing through. It just is. How about and that was a 1.0. Okay, so this is actually a decoder failure. The jump behavior is also undesirable. Interesting, they never observed that when setting labels. Maybe it's because the element disappears? Except here it doesn't disappear. And there it does. So do I need to do my own float decoder? Why would that fail? Can we take a string, json.decode.map, bug.log, value. Well, this is getting nasty. And then map it to... O. Okay. So that sure as heck looks like there's a string there. You know what we could do? Well, the map... Yeah, the problem is the map is only going to work if it succeeded. Why? This makes no sense to me. This looks like a floating point number. But okay. String dot is that how it works? But that is going to be like a maybe or something. Maybe float. So this really has to be an and then. Do we do a case or we just do a... Might as well be a case. JSON.decode.succeed and else. And does fail have a fail string? Using that counts as a change, though. Now, Can we actually get that to commit? Well, at least it does that. And doesn't jump around. Okay, so tabbing out still jumps around. And doesn't commit? I might have actually hooked into the wrong event here, but I think this is the one I was using for the labels, and those were working fine. But I might actually have to see if tab works that way in Firefox. Oh, had not rebuilt. Seems fine. Maybe it has to do with where the next selectable element is? Although all of these should be anchors, so... Oh, you know what? They don't actually have click feedback, though. So this might be a case of... we have to do the silly... dummy href. Yeah, and that might actually give us... Yeah, so it's actually moving up to the next anchor. Which there was none here before. So I had set that up so that you would like... Oh. Ah, only if there's an actual change. But that makes the number control actually not so great. So I might have to do this one as a... Is it just a regular on change? Does that take a JSON decoder, though? Input events. But I think that gets every character. I want every character. I guess on blur? But does that send me the target value? Okay, we can use the boxes. And then when we exit, we get a value. Enter doesn't work, unfortunately. However, oh. Oh, because this doesn't actually focus it, which is actually something we should be doing. I think that's actually browser. Focus, send it down by ID and focuses it. Failing silently. Okay, so we have to do our fancy schmancy float that actually works. And this is just debugging. So, no idea that the default one doesn't work here. I guess it's somehow coded for like actual JSON documents. Doesn't like just the bare value like that. Like it's looking for the comma or something. To make blur work effectively, do I need multiple arguments here? Oh, okay. Target value to code float. To make this work, and when we select game, did we import browser DOM? Yes, we did. But I have to define no-op message. Game score. focus string, task error, nothing. Each message equals no ups. There's no actual argument to it. Right, because it takes the task result. Result? That'd be part of the task attempt signature. Then update has to handle no op. Oh. I missed that we did exactly this before. Oh. We already had. Okay. And this includes the sleep 0 to make sure it exists. Huh. Right, so that is actually this step. Not doing the map to no op. And doing the sleep to make sure the element exists. We can do that if we leave when I don't focus. We didn't update it. So we copy pasted the code and that changed the ID that we had there before. Yay! So tab out will do it. Okay, that's weird. It worked exact. Oh. It works exactly once. Okay, so that is actually a time delay thing. Which means I should probably also check my other thing that was using the same trick. Oops, had not rebuilt yet. No, that seems fine. Oops. So the fact there's a timing thing there is worrisome. Well, that wasn't great either. Might just because of the constrained view. Nope, that is like actually terrible. These are keyed, so we should be able to do in-place updates. And maybe it's still causing a reflow. Hmm. I mean, I guess that's just crummy browser behavior. I don't know why it's jumped to bottom though, especially when the thing's already in the middle. It might be that we're causing an Elm repaint because the state changed and there's a momentary thing where the whole screen is blank. What if we're catching focus during a screen reset? Oh. What? Well, we have to have command.none. With a comma. Because I wasn't doing any of this stuff. We added the href. So every single click is counting as a page navigation. Well, not that many navigations. So we can't have that UI feedback. Well, why don't we do this? And this is where we do need the delay. I don't know how much. Okay, apparently more than that. Oh. That makes tabbing out jump to the next link, which is somewhere way off the page. But if they are valid links, then it changes the page. Can we do href nothing. Nope, that causes a full repaint. Now I guess I could. One way around this would be to upgrade it to a full browser application, which has events for navigation that could override trivial addresses. Create an event listener that may stop propagation. Prevent default. On submit. Prevent default on. So this is like a custom handler, but we have to produce a custom thing. So this would have to be on click. On click, prevent default on. Click. You should be fine because we're not actually going to jump to you. Now this gets. This wants a decoder. Now they're doing JSON.map. That's submit. I guess that's a little more general. But we should be able to do. Game ID. Yay! And we have an href, so when we tab, it doesn't jump somewhere. And these are still not causing. We still got the click through double click, which is annoying. That's kind of on the browser. Maybe I could do something with event propagation to stop that. Alright, can this be cleaned up? On click, succeed, href. Well, this is surely getting nasty enough. To format this as a proper list. That's a big line. And that's the entire second set of that. Is that? Yeah, that's over a lot. Over the old 80 columns. Alright, so you got... Yeah, we needed a delay, because there was some flicker there. View, we have a new event. We have a new event seems sent back. Our blur is still... Oh, right, because it was a placeholder event. That's the removed code. Our on click became prevent default, so we have an anchor there, and it doesn't cause a page change. And for reasons beyond my understanding, we had to do a custom float decoder. Update game score value. All right, now I would like to take a short break. And then we can look at actually persisting the scores that we've got, both in memory and in data exports for archiving and moving between browsers and things. Be back in a few minutes. Twisty twiny. And it's also just kind of fun tree houses with lots of interesting views of things. The other thing the game has is lots of pretty scenery. Cool stuff to see. So I mean,
Was it? Okay. Well, let's see what happens with this. Bye, baby. So... Okay, so you can empty water into it as well? So does it...
Okay.
Oh my god, no. Did I just destroy all of my turrets? Oh. Oh.
Hyper contract, not because I'm a liar.
I'm trying. I'm just digging up stuff now. I think it's been a couple of minutes. I feel like it's been a couple of minutes.
Yeah, come into my womb. That sounds so weird. Oh god. I just said something very stupid. Yeah, baby's cut.
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Persistence. There we go.
Oh my god, no. Did I just destroy all of my turrets? Oh. Oh. Holy sh... participated in doing Carrot Farm so far tonight, and a big part of that has been that this game's really goddamn overwhelming, and I just didn't know what I was doing. But there's a lot of... Okay.
Welcome back. Alright, so we've got a maybe score in the game. We've got, what I wasn't watching, and maybe even missed this on a previous round. Was that this round? Yes, it was. Oh, never mind, that didn't actually save. Let's just run that to make sure it's still happy. And amend it again because we couldn't. No, let's save it. Let's exit. Well, let's see if I can force write it now. Okay. Attempt to amend it again with the file. Excuse me. And I have no more backflow. I just don't have a terminal. Okay. Commit. Yeah, now it's going to pop this up because I didn't have the message. Okay. Wait. No, it lied. Why are we still getting... Oh, because it didn't actually have to compile anything. It was like, hey, everything's up to date. No, I'm still getting the debug version. I guess because the file hasn't actually changed, it's being clever about how it's rebuilding things. Or maybe it's the view that actually gets the debug output put into it. Oh, or maybe it wasn't actually changed when I launched this because of all the problems with actually hitting the save button. There we go. So we've got this stuff. We have two places we need to persist it. So right now we have one game. Well, for a bit, The interesting thing is we have two different ways we persist things. I guess it will probably be the same game format for both of them. But we will filter the list of games for export to only the ones that have scores. Now, do we have any tools? Built in for dealing with maybes. We do not seem to. So either since this is just an array, we could do some tricks to generate this without this if it doesn't exist. Or we need a sort of maybe float thing that generates a null if it's there. I'm going to have to be able to handle existing data loads without the field anyway. So if we could just not generate it, that'd be great. Yeah, I don't see map with default as being terribly clearer here. Wait, no, this still has to be a tuple. Does that compile? Okay, that compiles, and then decoding. So this will initially handle the in-memory stuff. So game. Oh, we've already got a succeed nothing because the game has that field. But this becomes a one of. See if the decoder actually works here. Except this is a list. Which I guess doesn't technically need the parentheses because it's a list now. Nope. This doesn't quite work. Does decode have a maybe type? And optional fields. Decoder A, decoder maybe A. Oh, so actually we can deal with maybe. And I said that was a list. And that's a dict to dict empty. Yeah, so this is for an actual maybe. Okay. So that ought So if we do this, and then reload, no, did not. So we need to know on which end that's failing. Maybe both. Oh, isn't it parsed? It isn't that nice. Unfortunately, there's a lot of objects here. So it might actually be easier to see. It saved score of 2. So this is actually a problem committing back to memory. Update game score, game ID score. Oh, this is a maybe map. So that will not actually add anything if there's no... Well, this one was there. So that should be a separate issue, or I need to edit something to make it sure it inserts if it's not there. That actually becomes a rather well, the games have to be in the map regardless. Because they're in this list. Okay. I'll turn the bugger back on in a moment. Update, okay, game ID 2.2. So that just stringifies as a mess. Well, it has to be in there. Just not showing up very well. Is that how we indexed games? Sure looks like it. No, we've not written this, but we're getting that one, and we're not getting this one. So this is dict.get. Right, game ID. No, wait a minute. This is displaying the data. Right, we forgot to actually type this out. Oh, and this has to be games. Alright, we're doing a lot of reloading right now. Don't need to be hammering all the screenshot stuff. Okay, just game. That should be the before. This should be the data. Oh. Because we were putting in dummy data. Do game dict g equals run game. Import game. This is for new ones. I would expect these to come in with the default score. I can just redo things now. Let's just do a check on this. Okay, that... I must have bumped into the arrow down there. Commit that, reload. Now this is what I wasn't sure about. Oh, yeah, that works fine. Alright, so we should actually be able to get rid of the bootstrap data. And then put back the regular view. Hey, Ruffalos, how's it going? Alright, don't need to do that, don't need to do the new game start with nothing, get rid of all our dummy data. Encode, decode. Oh, this is only the in-memory. That's fine. Ooh! Oh, actually assembling the chair? Yeah, I actually saw somebody do that on stream once. He had a bit more of an established audience, though. Save, score, data in local storage. Sure. And also, waiting, making cost. Ooh. Ah, okay. So what do you cosplay in? Is that also in the Final Fantasy stuff? Something I've never gotten into myself. Does this mean making hostable? Do I actually have this in persist? What would be encode and decode? Yes, export is only doing users right now. So that might actually be it. Right, so yeah, filter, persisted. So this is going to be, we're going to export with games. Monster Hunter. Oh, okay. Yet another game I've never gotten into. So list games, list dot filter. G dot score. Oh, what is there not? Not equal to nothing. Nope. Oh no, it's slash maybe. Oh, P was E here. Oh, export is a... Right. It's an actual type. Oh. So actual... So arguably the users have been pre-filtered there. but interesting I did that there. Persist encode, which actually mean if that's the list of stuff, maybe I just ended up copying that? I don't know. And then the decoder is going to have to match. So export. Map to field. Now this is a field that did not exist anymore. So it's going to look a little bit more like that. Oh. Well, this is going to be... yeah, list. Oh, and events was the dict. Okay. So field games, list game, else succeed blank. Now we have to deal everywhere else we build or deal with export. Encode, decode, persist. Module export. This must be something else. Model.users, model.games, dict values, and this is where we would filter this. Welcome, Runnin'. Is it really that rare of a thing? I mean, I know that that's like kind of predominant, but I thought some people still sold them. Or sold them without ads rather than doing the ad revenue. List.filter, and this is where we do G, where G.score is not equal to nothing. And it's getting the value from there. Alright, so that should be sufficient to export. Oh yeah, that whole thing. Okay, I set that up. And we've still got slightly unnecessary box art in here, but that's fine. And this looks like it is only the things I explicitly added, which is what we wanted. Okay, so the export is working. Import shouldn't be too bad. Receive imported. Imported. So users, live streams get reset, scored tags. This is something we want to be saving later. This would essentially be a dict insert. So that we replace it if it's already there. Over that list. Oh, no, right. Games equals imported dot games, imported. Dot games, and then we want to take that list. We need to map making games to Unity. Ah. Yeah, I guess I didn't really know that Roblox was a game platform per se. I guess I got the impression it was more of a game with buildable stuff, and maybe you could do games in that. All right, imported games. Actually, I think this is going to have to be. Oh, at least it's core. So let's start Foldle, I think. Well, Foldl, Foldar. I think R. On the left. That produces it in the same order. It's like saying step 1, step 2, step 3. Actually, maybe it's full L. I got that backwards the other day. So that is going to be the list. Which we could actually do that because it's going to be the last argument. Lua. Oh, okay. Well, that's neat. Step state. The state of this is going to be dict.games. Or, model.games. The step. Did the arguments work out for this? Fold L wants B to be its second argument. No, at minimum we need to have a pair, so game to dict.insert. Well, no, game and games. Ah, yes. A little bit more of a feature for language. Insert. Actually, insert's going to take 2 arguments. Oh, no, it's not a pair, it's 2 arguments. And I think those 2 arguments are exactly... No, that's the AD. It's 3 arguments. dict.insert game.id game in games variable v dictionary variable g dictionary game. Which was just G here. Yeah, I've done very, very little with C++ myself, or C Sharp. C Sharp, or C++ has been a long time. I haven't looked at any of the modern stuff either. Alright, so we have a recent export. Let's try... Doesn't need semicolons. Yeah, those little differences can catch you out sometimes. I wanted another browser environment. And thank you for the follow. Alright, so we currently have no ratings in this one. Or no scores, and a much longer list. So if we import our most recent one, we now have scores. Cool. And we still have the much longer list this built up over its history. Ooh, that touched a bunch of stuff. Oh, did I forget to commit the last one? Board games. That line got a little bit long. That's enough. If I wasn't using the slightly constrained window, it'd be fine. Oh, no, she was just that bit. Okay. Oh, yeah, persist. Yeah, because it has to go touch all the export format. Save and restore game scores in data exports. Alright, now I was doing this one value for testing, but I don't actually know if I want to be going above 2.0 for things yet. Where's our time at? Our time is... I mean, I want to take lunch at some point. I don't know if I necessarily want to get into all the UI and save restore for tag scores yet. But this is something we don't need to show all the time. So there's a question of, do you do a full view swap? Or do you just extend this? I guess... do I update my time? Because if I don't update the screenshots, it's not too big a deal to redraw the rest of the stuff. On web requests. Yeah, it's web requests pretty much. So as long as we're not making web requests, we'll be fine as far as hammering the screenshots. So we could actually make that a sort of modal takeover. So I've kind of just dumped stuff into here so far. So this would actually be, without getting into fancy tabs, it would basically be radio buttons. And I think I've done radio buttons in other apps. Actually, I know I did something similar in Mic Check. Now that's still on Elm18. Let me. You don't. You're also not converted. You have check marks, but not radio buttons. You don't have any controls at all. Yes, this is probably a good one. Radio. So, navigation. Oh, welcome back. Didn't realize you were gone. So, navigation item. Ooh, man, this is a current target. Oh, this is actually related to some specific things. Extra controls I put on there. Navigation controls, but does the radio? It does. The extra checkbox for that. Display navigation. Title. And this is separate from, and then app mode, which is essentially the kind of thing we'll be implementing. I haven't really gotten disciplined about having a high-level structure like this. Maybe we should do a little bit of that structuring first so we get this more concise modal thing. So our top level view, this might actually be enough CSS to think about moving out. I just think of this as controlling everything. Well, I mean, historically, JavaScript was sort of. I don't know if it's true, but the story is it was like a 10-day hack that got shipped. So it was something that kind of got rushed out. It's like, oh, a little bit of shipping to the web, and then developed. I mean, there's been a lot of stuff added since, although you always have to worry about your browser compatibility as far as using the latest and greatest things. Straight up JavaScript. I guess you don't have some of the like type checking and things, so that could lead to lots of error checking. They've added some class-like syntax to the later versions, but previously you kind of had to maybe be a little more verbose about setting up, you know, if you're doing object hierarchies and things. Maybe the syntax isn't entirely concise in places. I know JSON, you know, they want quotes around all the field names and everything, so that could be a little tedious if you're doing it manually. It's not JavaScript per se. I don't know. That's not necessarily the first thing I'd think about. Maybe, I guess since I've gone to Elm part to be something different. And then the type checking saves you from a lot of the tedious debugging as far as for some of the weird things. Yeah, so yeah, it's not the. I guess it's I would mostly think of the bugging side of it. All right, so we've got a header. It's all in this thing. That could probably be pulled out. Now header. So this is actually one of the. Well, no, we call it the display header. Maybe we should call it header view. I'm doing a little bit more of that. So header view. It is pulling stuff from model. I've not gotten specific about what it needs out of that model. Header view model equals a JavaScript calculator, and I don't know anything. Yeah. JavaScript and Lua have kind of about the same level of syntax and some dynamicness and some tables. All right, so header view extracted painlessly. So the other thing I was playing with occasionally, and these are the things that are going to be kind of become our modes. So I guess this would be like live stream. Oh, we've got stream view. This would be more like live streams view model. One at a time. And that could maybe go with the actual streams view. And then we've got a games view model. Model games, model again. Games view. No, game view. Uh-oh. Oh, model. And that compiles. Everything seems to still be there. So that restructures things a little bit. They're better set up to a modal thing. Int commit -m extract top level sections to functions. All right, so navigation here was separate from header. That might be something we want to do. For now, I'm usually using this in a wide enough format that it could probably squeeze in, maybe. So navigation items, we'll probably have something pretty close to that. So this one wants, yeah, header view. Which, I mean, It's an explicit. This was an explicit nav. I don't know if we want to do that. This is a list, I guess. So we were thinking of putting this fairly up front. I mean, there have been a couple slow periods, but long time. I don't know exactly when. Though for some reason I have recorded in my memory that the parents got the first computer around 1985. It was probably a few years, so I started playing with BASIC, so somewhere around then. Oh. Does that 2 months include working on the Lua stuff? Or do you not count the game scripting? All right, header. We'll start in here with something. Well, this is just making function calls. This we might be able to copy and riff on a little bit. Okay. Yeah, well, nice quick transition then. Oh, right. This version of Vim does not do clipboard by default. Alright, so app mode seems like a reasonable thing to call this. So we have current and target to highlight. What's item ID? Okay, because we're calling this for each item. Title for each item. Audible is the thing that's specific to that application. And status. This is a status icon. So, alright, so we've got current and target, item ID, title. And this could probably be one-lined again. Okay, so we've got current, we've got target. We've got, I don't know if I've done any ARIA stuff in this app yet. Current equals target. Navigation controls. Radio, navigation, item ID, title, navigate, which is the thing we'll need. Current equals target, item ID, just text title. We do not have audible stuff. We do not have checkbox for audible alarms. Would you send a chair with literally no instructions? Well, now you see, now what you do is you do stream it and put it under the puzzle solving category. Ah, okay. Yeah. Programming is tough when you start out. Okay, well. What did you say? Well, I mean, if you're insane in 2 months, rock on. We don't need a checkbox for the audio stuff, and we don't need the bell. Okay, so header. This was originally a just a very simple UL. So, navigation item. I guess we'll have that. We will have... This is going to be the mode, which we've got to define all that stuff. Live streams? And... Then we don't have audio icons. Yep, the game's where I started out. My stuff was like super simple. You know, I was just kind of doing screen tests. I had like a text adventure thing that only allowed 3 steps because I didn't know how to do data structures or anything. Eventually had like a little text-based Mario clone. And some other very simple things like that. So this is live streams. This is... We should probably have something more than just games. Now we have to define all this stuff. And for now, anything used in the view is being defined in the view. Just because I'm lazy and don't want to make intermediate modules, it feels too much like C headers. Live streams or game scores. And then none of this will compile until I define a navigation at mode event, or a navigate. Well, it still won't compile because I have to go define what this does. Alright, is there anything besides that missing thing? Oh, it wasn't view message in this one. On check, we have not imported. And ARIA selected. Is that the only ARIA thing? We might just punt that for now. List string. We're probably missing an argument to navigation item here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Oh. Yep. What do we miss here? At mode. Item ID and title. Okay. Streams. No. Other one. Really? I mean, I guess if somebody published one, you could check on that. But I mean, like some of my super early games were probably comparable to that. I mean, it was more. I think it was more than 104 lines of BASIC, but like the text graphics mean you didn't really have to do any dealing with graphics at all. It was just kind of pick a character and a color and then leave it up to the player's imagination. Oh, this is document type, huh? Well, yeah, I mean, you gotta start somewhere. Oh, man. These are the error messages that are terrible, because you basically have to step through something trying to figure out what the missing... Oh! It's looking for a model.app mode, which doesn't exist yet. Import... Let's grab that in case we end up exposing it later. So this has always been our kind of our core data. Pending. Starts getting into UI stuff. And then we have to set it to initially to something. We'll call it live streams. Oh, and then view has to expose it. Oh, right. They want you to be able to hide these enumerated things as a type, so... Everybody has to say I want all the details. And now, we finally hit the update error. UI view dot navigate to a mode. This is probably going to be pretty close. Yeah, pretty close to that. All right, we got to compilation. Now we're not actually doing any switching here yet. And we still need to do some styling on this. To actually make this do something, oh, did I? Okay, header view. And then this was the case model.app mode of live streams and game scores. Do we need any parentheses or anything there? So now we don't have the games coming up by default. We can switch back to here. And then, yeah, now everything's loaded, so it's a pretty quick transition. So then, this did have a separate style sheet, didn't it? And we're probably getting to that point on this one. New developers. Yeah, well, I mean, that's kind of what Flappy Bird was, and it became really popular for some reason. Navigation. So this had a bit more, yeah, we got fire warning, there's no icons. What do I have in my navigation item even? We've got navigation controls. Ah. Nav li2. I do have a div. Oh. Because we actually had the nav here. I mean, I could either do a class or we could actually wrap a quick nav around this, and then everything should just import. Style type none. Don't need icon. Header. It's kind of header stuff. Okay, I think I may have pulled in some padding or something there. Padding left, padding right. Yeah, so just a question of which element we have to shrink. And it looks like it's the nav, actually. And is that margin or padding? Probably margin. Pardon? Oh, maybe it's actually, yeah, UL margin. You've already got a see if 0 makes sense. This is specifically the top bottom stuff. Okay. Now I might. So that's the margin on individual items. It's the padding in individual items. Which we did in fact set. We also had some on there. Just the individual items. The way we've got this set up right now, I almost want to say just skip it. Alright, so it's still terrible programmer UI, but it works. And then I guess we'll have another thing here for tags comments, which might be a project for Friday because I usually take Thursdays off. All right, so this we decided not to use. Diff, view, app mode. App mode, navigate response, expose the app mode, the click event, navigate app mode, CSS, navigate items, switchable view for streams and games. And we only have one HTML file here, right? Yeah. So this is just... Yeah, so this is getting kind of big here. In fact, I even had a placeholder in here for this. So view... Edit public. View, lose the CSS. Find the text in the properties to change it. Is it possible that that is a nested object that's a label? See if it's got children. Because you could imagine, for instance, an image button would have an image as a, a label, so to speak, rather than a text control, or, possibly even more complex things. Okay, we still got our style, and then in the future I don't have to recompile for that. I think we're done with that. So yeah, that is pretty much that feature. And it's going to be about lunchtime, so it's probably a good breaking point. Add public style, diff, remove from there. Extract style sheet. Okay. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Left 4 Dead Cry, Gamer Siren, Useret Gaming, Ruffalo's, Strictly Phased, Crooked Snoot, Deadly Tacos, Dead Makes Games, Cat Knox, Doug Lake, Gwen Jellybean, Heskin TV, Instant Speed Live, and Stormy Ice Leopard for hosting me. Let's see if turn this off for the future. The schedule is working today. Yay, it's working today. So this is approximately when I tend to stream. Code in the mornings like this, and games in the afternoon. Numbers are US Central, but hopefully you can extrapolate to your local time zone. Oh, no, actually not that one. I've actually got it up here. From the red line. This actually was probably pretty fresh. So we got anybody... I was actually doing them earlier. It looks like they're just starting another session. Anybody else doing code? Visual Debugger actually sounds kind of interesting. Ooh. Okay, so this actually sounds pretty interesting. So I do try to support the smaller streamers, but Desoding's a pretty interesting guy, and you know, if you're into Elm functional stuff, this might actually be an interesting topic. So I'm gonna have that as my recommendation today. I obviously have a lot of choices, but yeah, Desoding's pretty cool if you're looking for some place to hang out. Thanks for hanging out with me, and goodbye for now.